Hey guys, welcome back, and this is me Tarun, and today we are going to be talking about Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan was born in January 5th, 1592 in Lahore, Pakistan. His birth name was Shahabuddin Muhammad Khurram. The date of death was January 22nd, 1666. Place of death was Agra, India. Reign was January 19th, 1628 to July 31st, 1658. Spouses were Kanadajdi Mahal, Akbarabadi Mahal, Mumtaz Mahal, Fatehpur Mahal, Moti Begum. And the children were Aurangzeb, Darashikoh, Jahanara Begum, Shah Shuja, Murad Baksh, Roshanara Begum, Gauhara Begum, Parhez Banu Begum, Husnara Begum, Sultan Sultan Daulat Afzal, Huran Nissa Begum, Shahzadi Suraya Banu Begum, Sultan Umaid Baksh. His father was Jahangir and mother was Jagat Goiseni. Shah Jahan uh, was one of the most successful emperors of the Mughal Empire. He was the fifth Mughal ruler after Babur, Humayun, Akbar, and Jahangir. After winning the War of Succession post the death of his father Jahangir, Shah Jahan successfully ruled the empire for 30 years. During his reign, the Mughal Empire tried making his reign the golden era of the empire. Though Shah Jahan was an able administrator and commander, he is best known for the construction of the Taj Mahal, which he built in the memory of his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal. Architecture in general saw the best of Mughal construction during his time. He is credited with constructing many beautiful monuments throughout the landscape of North India. Shah Jahan is also the founder of Shah Jahanabad in Delhi. The exquisite peacock throne, which he got built for himself, is believed to be worth millions of dollars by modern estimates. During his final days, he was held captive by his son Aurangzeb, who went on to succeed him to the throne. Emperor Akbar's first wife, Ruqayya Sultan Begum, was childless throughout her marriage. Though she couldn't give birth to a royal prince or princess, she was told by a fortune teller that she would be responsible in raising a future emperor. The prediction was such that Akbar's favorite grandson, who would go on to become the fifth Mughal emperor, would be brought up by the childless empress. So when Jahangir's third son was born, Akbar instinctively knew that he would be raised by his childless empress. As per the prediction of the fortune teller, Shah Jahan was born on 5th January 1592 to Emperor Jahangir and his second wife Jagat Gosini, who was a Rajput princess. After naming him Khurram, which means the joyous one, his grandfather Akbar took him away from his mother and handed him over to the Empress Ruqayya Sultan Begum. That time Akbar was the emperor. Khurram was just 6 days old, started growing up under the care of Akbar and Ruqayya Begum, and quite naturally, young Khurram was fond of Akbar and his mother more than his biological parents. Ruqayya Sultan Begum raised him with love and care and made that her top priority. In fact, Jahangir once famously said that he, meaning Khurram, was showered with more love by Ruqayya Sultan Begum than he or his wife ever could have. He received a traditional princely education that involved training in martial arts and cultural arts, which included music and poetry. While Akbar would instill him in the different techniques of warfare and leadership, his foster mother would narrate him the importance of moral values. In 1605, post the demise of Akbar, a 13-year-old Khurram returned to his biological parents. 1607, the 15-year-old Khurram got engaged to Arjumand Banu Begum, who is widely known as Mumtaz Mahal. However, the court astrologers had predicted that the couple should not marry until 1612, for their marriage wouldn't be pleasant otherwise. Paying heed to the astrologers, Kunan's parents and well-wishers decided to put off his wedding with Mumtaz until 1612, making the couple wait for another 5 years. After he was told to wait until 1612 for his wedding with Mumtaz, Khurram went ahead with his first wedding with Kandari Begum, a princess from Persia. He had his first child, a daughter, with her. He then married another princess before marrying Mumtaz Mahal in 1612. After having fathered two children from his first two marriages, he fathered 14 children with his favorite wife, Mumtaz Mahal. He also married two other women, namely Akbarabadi Mahal and Noti Begum. But it is said that these marriages were for political reasons, and the women he married for such reasons were considered more as royal wives. The ascension to the throne in the Mughal Empire was determined through military success and display of power by potential successors. The Mughals had stayed away from the traditional primogeniture method of choosing the rightful heir, and that made Khurram a potential successor to Jahangir, even though he was the third child of the emperor. In 1614, Khurram got an opportunity to display his military prowess, something he was so desperately waiting for. The moment he was waiting to seize came in the form of Maharana Amar Singh II, who was asked to surrender in his Rajput state to the Mughals. Khurram led an army of more than 2,000 men and defeated the forces of the Rajput king. This brave act of his paved the way for such opportunities. That 3 years later, in 1617, he was asked to conquer the Deccan Plateau in order to expand the empire. After his success in doing so, his father Jahangir bestowed upon him the title Shah Jahan, which literally meant king of the world in Persian. This made him the blue-eyed boy of the empire, and his dream of succeeding his father strode a step closer to reality. Though Shah Jahan had proved his abilities and prowess more than once, the fight for the throne was harder than he thought it would be. Jahangir married Noor Jahan, and she, along with her brother Asif Khan, became important members in the court. Also, Noor Jahan got her daughter from first marriage, married to Shahzada Shahryar, Shah Jahan's younger brother. She then continued to convince the emperor that Shahzada Shahryar was better than Shah Jahan and that he should be the one to succeed him. This led a rebellious Shah Jahan to build his own army with the help of a Mughal general named Muhammad Khan. He then led his army against his own father and Nur Jahan, but was defeated comprehensively in the year 1623. 3 years later, he was forgiven by the emperor, but Shah Jahan continued to find ways which would lead him to the throne. In 1627, upon the demise of Jahangir, Shah Jahan crowned himself emperor as the entire military was under his control. As soon as he became the emperor, Shah Jahan eliminated all his foes just to make sure the throne had no further contenders. He killed many in the year 1628, including his brother Shahzada Shahryar, his cousins Sahmuraz and Hoshang, his nephews Gharshap and Dawal, and sons of Prince Daniel and Prince Khusrau. Anyone he thought would be a threat to his throne was put to rest permanently. His stepmother Nur Jahan was spared but was imprisoned under tight security. Throughout his reign, Shah Jahan constantly strived towards expanding his empire. This gave rise to many battles and some alliances. When he joined hands with some of the Rajput kings of Bundelkhand, Bagalana, and Mewar, he waged war on the others like the Bundela Rajputs, and in 1632 he captured the fortress at Daulatabad and imprisoned Hussein Shah. He appointed his son Aurangzeb as his viceroy, who in turn captured places like Golconda and Bijapur of South India. He then went on to capture Kandahar, which led to the famous Mughal Safavid War. His empire now stretched beyond the Khyber Pass and all the way to Ghazna. Shah Jahan invested most of his time in building a massive army. It is said that his army all included more than 911,400 soldiers and 185,000 horsemen. He was also responsible in manufacturing cannons in huge numbers. During his 30-year reign, Shah Jahan transformed his empire into a well-oiled military machine. One of the most significant incidents in the life of Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan was the construction of the Taj Mahal. His beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal died while giving birth to their 14th child, and the reason behind the death was stated to be post delivery bleeding. This left Shah Jahan devastated, who then decided to build the world's most beautiful monument in the memory of his wife. After many years of planning, hard work, and immense sacrifices, the monument, which came to be known as Taj Mahal, was built. Today, people from different parts of the world travel to India just to see this amazing white colored structure, which is also one of the most visited tourist destinations of India. Taj Mahal continues to be one of the seven wonders of the world. Shah Jahan became seriously ill in September 1658. During his days of recovery, Dara Shikoh, one of his sons, assumed the role of the ruler. This made his brothers furious, and almost immediately, Shuja and Aurangzeb formed an army of his own. Shuja and Murad Baksh sought independent provinces and claimed their rightful share. Meanwhile, Aurangzeb had formed an army of his own and went on to defeat his brother Dada Shikoh. He then killed rest of the contenders and declared himself as the emperor. Though Shah Jahan later recovered from his illness, Aurangzeb deemed him unfit to rule and imprisoned him in the citadel of Agra. He also imprisoned his sister Jahanara Begum Sahib, who wanted to stay with the father in order to take care of him. Shah Jahan is said to have spent 8 long years of his imprisonment by staring at the tomb of his beloved wife, the marvel that he built in her memory. In the first week of January 1666, Shah Jahan once again fell ill and never recovered. On January 22nd, he is said to have summoned Akbarabadi Mahal and requested her to take care of his daughter, Jahanara Begum. He is then had said to have recited a few lines from the Holy Quran before breathing his last, aged 74. The emperor who once ruled the whole of India and more had died a prisoner. Princess Jahanara Begum wanted a procession with the state's noblemen carrying her father's body all over Agra. so that the subjects could wave a final goodbye to their beloved emperor. However, Aurangzeb was in no mood for such an extravagant funeral. In the end, Sayyid Muhammad Kanauji and Qazi Qurban Moore hid the body of Shah Jahan out of the prison, washed it, and placed it in a coffin made out of sandalwood. The coffin was then brought to the Taj Mahal through the river, where he was laid to rest next to his beloved wife. Now let's have a fun fact. Which all monuments did Shah Jahan construct? First of all, the famous Taj Mahal. Then the Red Fort, also known as Lal Killa in Delhi. And he also built some sections of the Agra Fort. He built the Jama Masjid in Delhi, Moti Masjid, also known as Pearl Mosque in Lahore, Shalimar Gardens in Lahore, sections of the Lahore Fort in Lahore, Jahangir Mausoleum, Takti Toz, which means Peacock Throne, then Shah Jahan Mosque in Tata. Okay, now guys, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And check out the blog whose link you can see in the screen in front of you. See you guys next time. And this is me signing off.